Hi guys, it is Monday, April 30th, meaning that it's officially the final day of our build, but that's not going to be the truth. We already knew that we have a couple of days extra to build, but like yesterday, the weather is horrible. It has been raining all day. It's now 7:30 already, and that's because I wanted to start filming when we started working on the van, but that was quite late during the day, and when we did, we found out something that was not so great. So let's start with the bad news. When Jordi entered the van this afternoon, he saw that there was some water in the middle of the van on some wood that we had lying here. And it had been raining obviously yesterday, the entire night as well, and then this morning, I think it was quite intermittent, but we had a couple of hours of rain as well. And there was water coming from around the LED, one of the LEDs in the ceiling. So around this LED there were some water droplets, and at the side here as well, and they were dripping down, and we didn't know where the water was coming from, but obviously there was something wrong with the roof. So we loosened the ceiling panel and saw that there were two spots in which there were some drops of water. So when it was dry, it stopped raining for like 15 minutes. We took out some towels and went on the roof and saw that it was overlapping with the holes that we made for one solar panel, and we think that even though we sealed off everything that we could reach, there was still a small area where water can seep through, meaning that that's where the leakage was, although all of the other areas with the solar panel and the fan do not have any issue at all. So we stuffed a towel in there because it was starting to rain again, and when the rain stopped we used some added sealant to finish it off in the hopes that that would work. And as far as we can see, it did work because there's no water in the van currently. We put a bucket down just to be safe, but that's dry as well, so that's good news. But we did get a comment on the video when we installed these solar panels, because we didn't include that we sealed them off with a good sealant afterwards, saying that before installing these Z brackets we could have used a small square of rubber or something soft like cork that we use for the floor to bolt them through into the roof, because that would mean that it would be completely watertight. And even though sealant around the edges should have been enough, we couldn't reach the back because the solar panels are very low in the brackets. So if for some reason we will be doing this again, we will definitely use a small piece of rubber or some sealant in between the bracket and the roof to completely seal it off, because right now it obviously isn't. So when it's completely dry, we'll check out the roof again, and we hope that for now it's done, but it will be raining tonight, during the night as well, and tomorrow probably as well, so we hope that this worked and that was it, but it was quite a scare. Anyways, what Jordi was doing in the van was installing the Lagoon table leg, or the mount plate basically. That was a little bit more difficult than we expected, because we had to use bolts that we had to access at both ends, because that's what bolts are. You have to screw something on the end, and you can't just drill them in like a regular screw. And it also means that it will be much sturdier, but we had already made a fixture that we would basically only be able to screw in. So here you can see what the fixture looks like. This is basically one block, so if you want to access it from the front and from the back, you have to open it again. So we did that, but behind this sheet of ply there is a big beam, and that beam and ply and mounting plate together was the entire length of the bolts that we were sent with the Lagoon legs. So we had to buy separate bolts, and they are very unique, but we happened to find them, so we have a bit longer ones now, meaning that we only had to take off the top and we could drill through that beam and the ply, and it still worked. But just keep in mind that these are delivered with bolts, not screws, and that the bolts are very specific. These bolts have a very specific shape that sinks into that metal. So just keep that in mind, that you don't make a structure like we did. You need a sheet and not a complete block, or just close it off afterwards. because we had to screw off this top, but that was alright. It was quite easy to do. And now we have a table mount. Because it was raining the entire day, I spent my morning selling stuff that we have to get rid of before we move, because obviously our van is very small and we can't take everything. So we sold quite a lot. We have a couple of buyers coming tonight, and we're just giving stuff away for a very low price, just because we know that we have to get rid of it very fast, and also we want to offer people that don't have much money to buy something that is still of good value. And it's also very sustainable not to throw something out just because it's easy, and you can make someone happy with it as well. We also gave away a lot of stuff, so we're happy about that. It's kind of getting a bit more tidy indoors now, and we're starting to see that most of the stuff that we have to get rid of is gone or will be sold over the next few days, so that's alright. But before we got into the van, we brought with us this frame and the Woodburner, because we're now installing it. As you saw a couple of days ago, we tried to drill holes into these tiles with a regular drill that's made for stone, but that didn't work. It didn't even make a proper dent. So we bought tile drills, and they worked perfectly. It was still quite difficult to drill through the tile and the wood, but it worked. And the thing that was most tedious about this was to find the spot where we had to drill these holes. There's a hole there and there, but it's difficult to measure and to pinpoint exactly where you want it to go. But the Woodburner has to be centered, obviously, so it took us a while to figure it out, but we did, and the holes were drilled in, and Jordi is now just bolting that into the frame so that it's sturdy and that it can't move anywhere. We still had some wood left from when we created the countertop, and because we still had some wood left from creating the countertop, I thought we could make some cutting boards, because they would match well with our countertop, but it would also be a shame to buy new cutting boards if we still have wood. So Jordi just made 3 of them. I'm not sure if we're going to take every one, but we'll probably take at least the small and the big one. And I just treated one of them with some oil, and it looks so much better already than the original one. I'll repeat that tomorrow so that it has a nice finish and that we can use them for a while, and we'll probably continue oiling them on the road with some olive oil or something like that. I'm currently using some product that we bought at IKEA a couple of years ago. I'm currently using a product that we bought at IKEA a couple of years ago, and that's perfect for woods that are used for serving products, so that's safe to use with food. So that's why I went for that, because we just had it laying around. But when we're on the road, we'll probably just use some olive oil. But it looks good. Well, that's it for today, guys. The weather still is horrible. It has been the entire day, and that means that tonight we won't be working on the van either, even though it's light out till quite late. We will probably be sorting out a lot of stuff in the apartment, and we hope that the weather is a bit better tomorrow, but so far it doesn't look like it's going to be, so we'll see. And yeah, tomorrow we will also see how the water leakage is coming. We hope that the extra sealant that we added does the job, but we're not sure. We still have that bucket underneath just to protect it, just to be sure. And yeah, we'll see. You will hear more tomorrow. Thanks again for watching, and goodbye.